Hello, I'm Kelly Bennett for Backstage 360. We are at NAMM 2022 inside the Hilton Hotel, and we've been talking to a lot of musicians, and I run into this lady last night, and I said, I have to interview you because you've got a very colorful past.
Very colorful.
Ronnie Lee.
I wear a lot of black, but a very colorful past.
Well, we're kind of like sisters from another mister because we know a lot of same people, but thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So tell us, back in the day when you decided to start playing a guitar, what made you think of that?
Well, I was raised very, very, very sequestered. I wasn't allowed to have rock and roll in the house. So, of course, somehow I must have been born with oppositional defiance. I think it's a disorder. Maybe technically, I don't know. The doctors out there can tell me for sure. But as soon as somebody tells me I can't do something, I just have to do it. So I got my hands on some 45s, and I have a little brown and beige record player. And I started playing them, and I was like, this stuff is fun. It did something. It made me, feel something, which music does, right? That's what music's made for. And I liked listening to it, but I really got into like, how is this sound happening? How does this work? And my brother started playing guitar. And again, I must have a problem because I didn't want him to be able to do something I couldn't do. So I'm like, well, I could do that. Give me that.
How old were you at this time?
I was probably 12 at the time. I could still beat him up. He's younger. He surpassed me eventually, but I was still bossing him around at that age, right? So I got his guitar from him. I wasn't mean about it, but I just, I don't want people to think I'm mean because I'm not that mean. But with brothers, what are you gonna do? So I got the guitar and I started playing it, and I don't know, I just fell in love with the sound that it made. It was an empowering thing too. We had, on a little bit of a serious note, I was tossed around a lot. We were in foster homes and stuff, so we ended up with our grandparents who are wonderful people, but we have a rough start. You need something that really links you and something that's solid in your life. And
kind of gave you a purpose.
It gave me an outlet, and it made me, I could express myself. And but I never wanted to express myself quietly with folk music. I wanted to express myself like the Rolling Stones and Black Sabbath, because I'd put those records on. I'm like, okay, this had maybe there was anger in there, maybe there was just frustration. Who knows what it was, or maybe I just like rock and roll.
So did you start playing these types of songs with this guitar?
No, I played Hootenanny out of a Hootenanny book first. Because that's the only music book I had, I was allowed to have.
But you actually taught yourself with...
Taught myself.
Okay.
Oh, completely. Oh, sitting in my room by myself with the needle on the record. And anybody born...
So do you read music?
I do now.
Okay.
I do now. I studied music later in college, many years later.
Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit. So now you're probably in your teenage years. Do you have a band? What are you doing in high school?
In my teenage years, I got in trouble, and I got sent to another foster home. Well, that's bad, a little bit bad, and again, it's the 70s now, and it's loosey goosey a little bit. Yeah. And somebody said to me, this guy I met says, hey, I'm putting together an all-girl band in Seattle. Okay. Do you want to be the guitar player for it? Because I just told him I play guitar. He believed me. I go, yeah, and I was pretty bad. Actually, I was pretty bad, but I wanted to do it so bad. I said, sure. So I got in his Econoline van. Don't do this at home, kids. And I put my cigarette out in the principal's office, and I left school. And I was in my first band. I was probably driving a car maybe by 16 or 17 then. Okay. And I was in that band for a few months, and then they fired me, and they said, you'll never be able to play guitar, go do something else. Well, that didn't fly with me, so I then started learning. I took lessons from a jazz musician, because I had all the excitement of it, but I didn't have the knowledge.
So take us now to how you got with Rick Derringer and the Runaways, Ryan Derringer, all those people that we were just talking about. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
After I got fired, I went to Reno, and I got a job in an all-girl lounge band, and I met up with Rick Derringer. Because Rick Derringer and Johnny Winter, all those guys were all hanging out there. Okay. And by then I was playing Jeff Beck. I was in love with Jeff Beck music. I was play. I was working with a keyboardist who was teaching me music theory, and now we're making money, right? And now I'm 18 years old, a year later. Well, I'm reading a magazine, and there's this guy named Kim Fowley. Now I'm from Los Angeles, and this guy named Kim Fowley goes, well, I've just put this band together called the Runaways, but I need another female guitarist for this band called Venus and the Razorblades. Okay. First punk rock. male-female band in LA. And I'm like, I could do that, and because I really wanted the job with the Runaways, but that they were done. They were put together and playing by then. So Rick's like, hey, yeah, here, take my silver. He gave me a silver lame jumpsuit. Zips up the front.
Silver lame.
Oh, yeah, because we were the same size. We still are height-wise. So I got jumped into a car or something. I don't know what I had. I had a Flying V and a Marshall stack, and I drove to Hollywood and Gower, if you know where that is, and stayed with my friend with a bunch of other guitar players. And Kim came in, and he goes, I want you playing, I want you dressed for stage, and playing when I walk in the door, or I'm not going to hire you. Because he didn't believe me. I called him 4 times, and he kept hanging up on me. He goes, you're a reporter, you're not a guitar player, you're not a guitar player. Okay. He goes, you just want an interview. I go, no, I'm a guitar player. No, you're not. I go, because I'm a girl. There's the girl thing again.
So you started playing, and
I got the job immediately. Okay. He walked in, he goes, you're hired. Okay. So I got the job.
So somewhere along the line, we had a chat earlier. Then we got married, and you kind of stayed away for about 20 years, kind of raised your kids.
I had a whole long career first with the Runaways, writing for them. And in fact, the first song I ever wrote was the song that the Runaways used for their mantra, which is I Want to Be Where the Boys Are, which is in the movie and the whole thing. So, I had a whole career there. I toured. I was on Mushroom Records in Canada with Heart. And I was busy until about 1987, and I met a guy, and we fell in love, and I think that's great. I've had, you gotta encompass all things in your life, right?
And you have children, and
I have 3 wonderful kids. We got married. He's a musician. We continued to play. We did other types of things. He was in the music Hollywood industry. He played on a lot of movie soundtracks.
So
and stuff.
now, Roni Lee Band is taking birth. It's basically going out there, right?
It's been the Roni Lee group really since the 80s.
Okay.
I've been the Roni, but we reformed in 2009 when again back with Derringer. Right. He goes, hey, do you want to play with us at this show? We were talking at the Ramona main stage down in Southern California. And I said, well, heck yeah. And he goes, do you have a band? And I said, sure, of course I do. Well, I'm a solo artist. And what solo artists do is we get a group of musicians together. And I have my favorites. My co-writer and cohort in crime is Lynn Sorensen from Bad Company. He's the bass player from Bad Company. We've been working and writing together for 10 years. In fact, we wrote the last EP completely together. He's produced the last couple projects for me, and he and I are collaborating on the vinyl that's coming out this summer as well. So
so I want to talk about all of the exciting things that are coming up for you, because when she was telling me earlier, it was like, we're going on tour, we're doing this, so many things.
I know,
so many things.
This is a busy year.
So what are you doing now?
Well,
because you don't have, obviously the kids are grown and gone.
I just graduated my last kid 2 weeks ago, actually, but they let me go in 2009. I said, can I go play again? And so they were like, yeah. And my kids have always been very supportive, and they love the fact that their mom does that. And I embarrass them. I bring them on stage. They run my merch. They wear my T-shirts. I'm super lucky because not all parents can say that. They all play instruments, but thank God they don't do what I do. Probably gonna have real jobs. And
so tell me about the album.
So, I've since 2009 when I resurfaced, I've probably done 5 or 6 EPs and some singles. So one of the things I've wanted to do for a long time is since Venus and the Razor Blades, I haven't put out a vinyl. So this summer we're putting out a vinyl. We've got new songs, but it's called A Lifetime. So it's really some of the songs that have really been impactful to me and have done well and that the Runaways did and the Gold Record won, but also just my favorite ones that I've recorded, so it's really just a lifetime. I've been playing for 45 years, so it's rock and roll that kind of does the whole thing. And it's really cool. The cover's got it's like Polaroid style pictures of everybody I've played with, and I've played with some great people. I mean, great. Brian Tichy on drums, Kenny Arnoff on drums, Lynn Sorensen, of course, the Steppenwolf guys, Randy California. Recently I've been working with, Mike Keneally from the Zappa band. I mean, just on and on, just great
Back
people.
in the day, though, when you were a female guitarist, there were
I still am one.
I know, but back when you started... I think
because I used to be one.
when you first started, there weren't very many female guitarists out there to
No.
actually be a mentor to you.
It was very, very difficult because I used to be treated like, and I still kind of am treated like a party favor. You know, oh, there's no, you need to, and then you get up there and people go, oh, crap, you know.
Yeah.
I guess you really do play guitar, yeah. And in fact, we have a T-shirt that we sell at merch called "Don't Touch My Knobs" because, and during an interview, somebody said, "What's your pet peeve?" I go, when people come up, go here, let me fix that for you, honey. And I go, don't touch my knobs. So we made a T-shirt out of it. And we also play like a girl underwear. But yeah, it was difficult because a lot of times I was flat out told, we don't want a girl in the band.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to be in a band where somebody doesn't want you
Right.
for any reason.
Right.
And that doesn't happen so much, but it's still male dominated. And I try not to wear a chip on my shoulder about it. I really don't. I'm the Dave Grohl school of thought on that. You know what? I just put my head down. I play as well as I can. And that's all I can do.
What would you tell young girls growing up right now as far as getting into the music industry, specifically wanting to play a guitar?
I would say, well, specifically, I have aligned myself with my favorite players. Like I play with Larry Mitchell all the time. We have 4 shows coming ahead of us. We're playing this weekend in San Diego. We're playing at 3 shows in New York together in July. We play a lot of shows together. And I like to be around people that, in my opinion, are better than me, and they know more things, and they're different. I don't know, better is subjective, you know, but, you know, me.
It always makes you better if you're with somebody.
I like being around people that are very, very talented. It doesn't make me feel better. I don't want to feel superior. I just want to be aligned with them and just be, you know, it's always been about respect. So I just, and I mentor a lot of people. I have a record label called Play Like a Girl Records. I started originally as a vanity label for myself as a joke, right? Because you gotta have a record label with my distributor, and so I go, let's play like a girl because everybody says you play like a guy. So I started playing, and now I've actually had a number of artists on it, and so I work with people, and we tell people you don't have to be a girl, you just have to play like one. And
Is there a difference?
it's an attitude, not a gender. It's because it's tongue in cheek, you know. So I do tell that same thing to a lot. I am mentoring 2 people right now that are in my band. A bassist, Jules Welpton. She's beyond mentorship now. I've worked with her for 10 years. She's 31. And in my newest cohort, she's 25, Courtney Lorenko, and she's on keys and drums, and not drums with us, but keys, and she's 25. So she just question. And I said, just play with good people and just be as good as you can be.
What's coming up next for you? What can we find you?
This year is a lot of touring. We actually have the Dollface tour that we're doing after the vinyl releases, and that starts in Seattle, goes all the way down the coast through Vegas and over through Salt Lake City and the Midwest and that sort of thing. And then next year, and then we'll take a little break because we have shows literally from now until the end of the year. And then we'll take a little break, and then now we're going back to Europe finally after all this nonsense. We have Germany, is usually every year I'm in Germany. So this year will be June, and I love Germany in June. Springtime in Germany.
Nice.
So we head over there, and then we'll add some shows this time. Probably do UK and a couple other things that we don't normally do just because we're excited to go back, you know. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and telling us all about. Well, it's been wonderful getting to know you, and I'm pretty sure we'll stick. You know, we'll keep in touch and interview you again. So
thank you so much. Thanks for your time.
You are so welcome.
Happy Nam.
RoniLeeGroup.com is her website, and make sure you check her out on social media. I can't wait to see you jam because I've been told that she is one heck of a shredder on stage. So yeah, I'll be checking your music out.
See you tonight.
All right.
Stay awake.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Bennett for Backstage 360. We'll see you next time.
everybody. I'm Roni Lee from the Roni Lee Group, and I'm here at NAMM, and Backstage 360 was kind enough and possibly unwise enough to invite me to do an interview, which I just did, and it was fabulous. So please check them out at backstage360.com because they're interviewing everybody here. They're checking out bands, they're checking out local bands, all the coolest gear, everything that you need to know and want to know about NAMM, and we're always afraid to ask. So please check them out, backstage360.com.